mẹ́ta ayàtọ̀ sí wọn jọ̀ọ́jọ̀ọ́.
Enjoy. Enjoy.
What a beautiful Wednesday morning. Thank God for the gift of life to see the dawn of today. It's Wednesday, the 18th day in the month of June. I am OLUWAFUNKE. You are right here at all Vicinity 95.3 FM, right on the YouTube of Ikejile. Beautiful morning to you, people all around the world. Welcome on Newspaper Review, where we get to bring you all over top stories on the dailies and details of these headlines. Do well to join the conversation this morning.
Yes, good morning, Ikejile. It's newspaper review on Vicinity 95.3 FM. I am AISHA IBRAHIM.
Yeah, and before me is the Guardian newspaper, Nigerian Tribune, Punch newspaper, and Daily Independent.
Before me is the Nation newspaper, Vanguard newspaper, and the Daily Trust newspaper.
Yeah, and I will begin with the Guardian this morning. INEC rejects PDP's NEC meeting notice without secretary's signature, with justice system frustrating 1.5 trillion naira bad loans recovery. Judges. Japa doctors must be incentivized to stay in Nigeria, says Obasanjo. Property owners shun CFO tied to registries over bureaucracy graft. Senate CDS expressed frustration over Benue killings amid push for community policing. FG ties credit scores to NIN in major reform plan. We will go after repentant bandits, Darren H. says Katsina governor. Yawata, Benue Assembly wants self-defense, anti-open grading law. EU commits 110 million euro to peace security projects in ECOWAS.
On the Nation newspaper this morning, earlier, hopefully, Benue killings will end with Tinubu's visits. Also, Dangote Refinery's fuel distribution scheme to cut inflation. Why government is building new office for INEC. Omokri, I remain with Tinubu despite Atiku's claims attack.
And
Also, PDB's June 30 NEC meeting threatened.
And on Nigerian Tribune, Benue defense chief vows to take battle to terrorists as Tinubu visits states. Today, Mando's act of terror will be curtailed. IGP, 7 Benue LGAs were under siege, so reduced to 6.
On the Vanguard newspaper this morning, 2025 Democracy Day, Tompolo's grassroots door-to-door movement holds special media engagement in Abuja. Also, Benue killings, our glory ordained by survivors. Fuel scarcity looms as marketers, truck owners boycott Lekki to Ekpe corridor.
Now on the Punch, Benue bloodbath, CDS, IG launches cross-border manhunt for killers. Tinubu to visit Benue Wednesday. President wants killings to end. 2027 APC talks tough as pressure mounts over Tinubu's running mates.
On Daily Trust, fresh trouble for PDP as INEC rejects NEC notice.
Now on Daily Independent, SWF crucial to close infrastructure gaps, create jobs. Tinubu angry APC members accused Wike's loyalists of hijacking party. Benue massacre, we must act decisively now to secure lives. The top stories on Daily Independent.
Here are the top stories on the Nation newspaper. Earlier, hopefully Benue killings will end with Tinubu's visits. Benue is hopefully of an end to the serial killings in the states after today's visit by the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. There are also expectations that the political differences among the gladiators will be resolved. Governor Yasin earlier said last night that full support for the states and its leadership is being demonstrated by the president with the visits.
And I'll bring you details of the headlines on the Guardian newspaper. The federal government said that it will explore public-private partnership to bridge the 2.3 trillion infrastructure deficit. Federal government said it will explore public-private partnership to bridge the 2.3 infrastructure deficit. President Bola Tinubu stated this on Tuesday in Abuja during the opening of the Nigerian 2025 Public-Private Partnership Summit. Also sent a clear message to the Investment Committee that Nigeria is open for businesses with the flurry of its economic reforms. The summit, organized by the Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission, ICRC, brought together key stakeholders across government and private sectors to advance collaboration towards closing Nigeria's $2.3 trillion infrastructure gap.
Still on the Nation newspaper, Why government is building new office for INEC. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu yesterday described the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) as the backbone of Nigeria's democracy. He also gave reasons the federal government is building a befitting secretariat for the electoral agency. The president spoke this during the groundbreaking of a new office for INEC in Abuja.
And Ganduje Support Group condemns attack on APC leaders at Gombe meeting. The coalition of Ganduje Support Group has condemned what it described as act of hooliganism during the All Progressives Congress Northeast Zonal meeting held recently in Gombe. Speaking on behalf of the coalition, National Coordinator Alhaji Abdurrahman Salihu criticized the disruptions allegedly carried out by individuals loyal to Vice President Kashim Shettima. According to Salihu, the unrest was triggered by the failure of speakers at the event to mention the Vice President's name while endorsing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the 2027 presidential election.
Still on the Nation newspaper, PDP's June 30 NEC meeting threatened. There is anxiety over the proposed meeting of the National Executive Commission Committee of the People's Democratic Party (PDP). The meeting may be jeopardized by the lingering leadership crisis. It was learned yesterday that the meeting may be jeopardized by the lingering leadership crisis. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has alerted the party to the consequences of the faulty notification memo it received about the proposed June 30 NEC meeting. According to the electoral agency, the memo conveying the notice was not duly signed by the recognized National Secretary, Senator Samuel Anyanwu.
Dakwa doctors must be incentivized to stay in Nigeria, says Obasanjo. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has said that medical personnel, including doctor-rated and rehabilitated Yarima Bakura Special Hospital in Zamfara State yesterday.
Also on Nation newspaper this morning, CBN pauses dividends, bonuses for select banks in new stability measures. The Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) has introduced temporary restriction on the payment of dividends and bonuses by a small group of banks as part of its broader strategy to strengthen the financial sector. The measure, which targets institutions which the CBN did name still recovering from the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, is designed to reinforce their capital buffers and ensure long-term resilience. The development was made public by the Acting Director of Corporate Communications at the CBN, Mrs. Akama Sidi Ali, who explained that the decision is part of a broader reform framework initiated in 2023. The reforms aim to position Nigeria's banking sector as a solid foundation for the country's long-term economic ambitions.
Federal government announces emergency evacuation of Nigerians in Israel and Iran. The federal government says it is finalizing emergency evacuation plans for Nigerian citizens stranded in Israel and Iran following a major escalation in hostilities between the two countries. A statement released on Tuesday night by Kimia B. Ebiafar, spokesperson for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, said the Nigerian embassies in Tel Aviv and Tehran have commenced efforts to reach affected Nigerians and coordinate their safe evacuation.
On Vanguard newspaper this morning, I will use my personal vehicle as Lagos governor if the 2023 governorship candidate of the Labour Party, Gbadebo Vivo, says his leadership style will be remarkably different from what negotiations currently experience under the administration of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Vivo described himself as a servant leader, saying he would lead Lagosians from the front and not from his office when he became the governor of Lagos State.
Nigeria targets $2.3 trillion BP projects to bridge infrastructure gap. The federal government has said that it will explore public-private partnership to bridge the 2.3 infrastructure deficit. President Bola Tinubu stated this yesterday in Abuja during the opening of the Nigerian 2025 Public-Private Summit. Also sent a clear message to investment community that Nigeria is open for business with the flurry of its economic reforms.
Still on the Vanguard newspaper, no underwear, no exam. Ogun University's dress code sparks mixed reaction online. The management of Olabisi Onabanjo University in Ogun State has sparked a conversation online over the enforcement of its no underwear, no examination policy. On Tuesday, a viral video on Twitter purported showed officials of the institution inspecting female students before they are admitted into exam halls. In the video, the female students stood in line while the officials touched their chests to determine whether they wore underwear.
Yeah, you're still on to Vicinity 95.3 FM, KGLA AISHA. Do let us know you can join the conversation this morning on our Facebook and YouTube at Vicinity 95.3 FM. We'll be right back. Staying tuned. Now still on The Guardian. Tinubu backs INEC's autonomy, lays foundation for new edifice. President Bola Tinubu on Tuesday reaffirmed his administration's full commitment to the independence and institutional strength of the Independent National Electoral Commission, declaring that credible elections remained the cornerstone of Nigeria's democracy. The president made the declaration while flagging off the construction of INEC's new national headquarters in Abuja, a major upgrade meant to reflect and reinforce the Commission's autonomy, innovation, and operational capacity. The new headquarters is a clear signal of unwavering support, the President said, for INEC's autonomy, capacity, and growth.
On Vanguard newspaper, fuel scarcity looms as marketers, truck owners boycott Lekki Epe corridor. There were fears over a possible occurrence of fuel scarcity yesterday, following a coordinated boycott by petroleum marketers and truck owners protesting against the Lagos State government's enforcement of a controversial 12,500 Naira e-call-up levy on trucks operating along the Lekki-Epe corridor. Members of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, and the National Association of Road Transport Owners, NAUTO, on Monday staged a peaceful demonstration withdrawing haulage and fuel trucks from the corridor in rejection of what they described as an exploitative, ill-timed and burdensome policy.
Police quiz at Defarasi over viral firearm video. Officers of the Lagos Police Command are interrogating Paul Defarasi, senior pastor and founder of House on the Rock Church, over the viral video of him holding a gun-like object. A statement by the Lagos Police Command on Tuesday said that Defarasi turned himself in at Lagos Police Command headquarters. Recently, viral video showed the pastor pointing an object that appeared to be a pistol at a content creator while driving. So you know what these content creators they do? Some of them they review cars, they do a lot of things, and it's a popular thing we all know. But some of us, for the Gen Zs and the millennials, you know, we are kind of we have knowledge of these things. So you're driving and they just they want to review your car. So that I want to have a little chat with you, but seeing the situation in understanding the situation in Lagos that when you're driving, of course, there is the fear you don't want to be attacked, especially when there is slow traffic and you're just moving gently and somebody just approach. There's this approach, somebody's onto you. You know, we are humans and there's that place of fear. But when the video trended, you know, people were like, "Ah, that thing looked like a pistol." Some said, "No, it's this thing they use they use for shocking people and all of that." So there were controversies around it. And just to be clear, you know, the police had to, you know, call the pastor in to be sure that, okay, he didn't point a gun at the young man who was trying to, you know, do a car review and all of that. Well, thankfully, Pastor Adefarasi, you know, turned himself in. And I'm sure police will let us know how, you know, after all of the investigation, of course, they'll put it out there, you know, for clarity. So we don't keep jumping on things because the situation trended over for days and people, you know, had something to say. I mean, honestly, somehow we might want to judge, but sometimes things happen and you just the way you react
You just have to be patient.
yeah, sometimes the way you
Because
react
reaction
might not even
sometimes
be
might
what you
breach.
want to be, what you want to do, but somehow some things just get, you know, not the best part of you.
Yeah.
And when you now rethink it, like, shouldn't I have, you know, be more cautioned or, you know, act in a way, but we can't judge anyone now, either the content creator or the pastor. Let the police, you know, do their findings. And you know, content creation is a lot these days. Sometimes you don't even know what to believe again. You see some content, you think they're real, but you'll be surprised at the end of the day. It's not real, it's just content. And some people will just put it out there and make it look real. And we want to doubt it because a lot of people are doing content these days. So you don't know what is really true, or maybe
what
this
is
is
not
just
true.
something that's been put together.
Or
not
maybe they are just doing it for fun. Yeah.
Moving on from that story.
So moving on from that story, Vanguard newspaper, Tinubu reiterates commitment to fast-track approvals for viable projects. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu stated on Tuesday the determination of his administration to fast-track approvals for viable infrastructural projects in the country. Tinubu, represented by the Vice President Kashim Shettima, made this known at the 2025 Nigeria Public-Private Partnership (PPP) Summit on Tuesday in Abuja. The president therefore urged private sector partners to be focused and more committed. According to him, what matters to the average Nigerian is the availability of basic infrastructure such as power, roads, health facilities and quality schools. He called for a strengthened public-to-private sector partnership that emphasizes innovation, efficiency, commitment, and integrity above mere capital and investment.
And now to Punch. Benue bloodshed, Governor Assembly at odds as FGF ex-generals move in a move to end the violence that has cost many lives and destroyed homes across several communities. President Bola Tinubu on Wednesday hold a meeting with the stakeholders in Benue State and listen to their concerns firsthand. Over 200 people were reportedly killed within a few hours, including children, women, at Yelawata, Guma local government area on Friday night. The killers reportedly used sophisticated weapons and failed to set house ablaze. Outraged by the bloodshed, the State House of Assembly, in a resolution on Tuesday, asserted that Governor Ayasint Alia, his deputy Sam Ode, and all the 32 lawmakers had let the people down.
Now on the Daily Trust newspaper. Alleged fraud. EFCC rearranged Bauchi State AG BDC operator. The Economic and Financial Crime Commission (EFCC) on Tuesday rearranged Mr. Siraju Jaja, the Accountant General, Bauchi State, and a Bureau de Change (BDC) operator, Aliyu Abubakar, on allegations bordering on money laundering. Jaja and Abuja were arraigned on a 5-count amended charge before the Justice Obiara Egbuatu of the Federal High Court in Abuja. The news agency of Nigeria, NAN, reports that the EFCC had on April 7 arraigned Jaja Abubakar and his company Jafad Resource Enterprise as first, second, and third defendants, respectively. However, in the latest charge, why Abubakar is the first defendant in the amended charge marked FHC Abuja CR 101-2025, Jaja is listed as second defendant.
Back when the Punch, Reps probe 1.12 trillion naira and for borrowers fund diversion. The House of Representatives Committee on Nutrition and Food Security on Tuesday commenced a probe into how the 1.12 trillion naira meant for the execution of the Anchor's borrowers program was allegedly diverted by ministries, departments, and agencies. The panel is also probing the Nisar Microfinance Bank and how it spent 215 billion naira on agro-businesses as well as the Bank of Industry over the disbursement of 3 billion naira to 22,120 smallholder farmers through the Agriculture Value Chain Financing Program.
On Daily Trust newspaper, ex-VP Sambo denies allegations of political interference in power sector privatization. Former Vice President Muhammad Namadi Sambo has refuted claims made some time ago by Dr. Shamsuddin Usman, a former Minister of Budget and National Planning, alleging that the 2013 power sector privatization process was driven by political interests rather than technical and financial capabilities of buyers. In a statement issued by his personal secretary, Mr. AISHA Ibrahim, Sambo described the allegation as false, mischievous, and hypocritical, asserting that they were intended to tarnish the image of the Goodluck Jonathan administration and the National Council in Privatization, which he chaired at the time. The statement said, "My attention was drawn to a shocking statement attributed to Dr. Usman, suggesting that political considerations influenced the selection of preferred bidders during the privatization process. This is utterly ridiculous and a complete falsehood."
Still on the Punch newspaper, our PDP crisis chair Governors INEC hold emergency talks in a bid to resolve the threats hovering around the 99th National Executive Committee meeting of the People's Democratic Party, scheduled for June 30. Acting National Chair of the party, Umar Damangan, governors elected on the party's platform, and other stakeholders will on Wednesday today meet with the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu. The once dominated political party has been a shadow of itself since it lost power at the center in the 2015 presidential election.
National Assembly transmits tax reform bills to Tinubu. The National Assembly has formally transmitted the tax reform bills to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for assent. The chairman, Senate Committee on Media and Public Affairs, Senator Yemi Adaramodu, APC, Ekiti South, disclosed this during a press conference yesterday in Abuja. It could be recalled that President Tinubu has transmitted 4 tax reform bills to the National Assembly last year for consideration and passage. The The bill generated heated debate but were later passed by both chambers of National Assembly on May 2025. On May 25, 2025, the harmonized version of both chambers was adopted for transmission to the President for assent.
Still on the punch, the Association of Community Pharmacists of Nigeria has called on President Bola Tinubu to urgently intervene in what it described as the growing domination of medical doctors in the health and education sector. ACPN warned that such practices are detrimental to national development and inclusive governance. The pharmacists made this known in an open letter signed by their national chairman, Ambrose Eze, and Secretary Omar Cafe Ashere, dated June 16.
Still on Daily Trust newspaper, 11 CBT centers, registrants to face sanction over fingerprint infraction, JAMB. The Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has recommended 12 penalties for 11 computer-based test CBT centers and their registrants involved in fingerprint irregularities during registration for the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination (UTME). The Registrar Chief Executive of JAMB, Professor Isaac Oloyede, made this known after a brainstorming section with some critical stakeholders following a meeting with the affected CBT centers and registrants on Tuesday in Abuja. He said the measures, which still require the approval of Education Minister Dr. Maruf Tunji Alausa, are intended to protect the integrity of the examination process.
Benue killings, we are tired of mourning, Senate declares. The 10th Senate has expressed frustration over the frequent observance of minute silences and condolence visits prompted by the incessant loss of innocent lives to murderous terror groups in Benue State. Chairman of the Senate Committee on Media and Public Affairs, Senator Yemi Adaramodu, made the remarks on Tuesday during a session with journalists. He was reacting to the recent killings in Benue State over the weekend, allegedly carried out by bandits in the North Central region.
Still on Daily Trust newspaper, Mokwa floods. 700 persons still missing, Niger government. The Niger government says that over 700 persons are still missing following the recent flooding in Mokwa community in Mokwa local government area of the state. Governor Umaru Bago of Niger disclosed this when he received Major Amzad Ali Mustafa, former Chief Security Officer to General Sani Abacha, and his friends on a condolence visit over the recent flood in Mina on Tuesday. Bago, represented by the Deputy Governor, Mr. Yakubu Galba, also disclosed that 207 people have been confirmed dead and over 3,000 household displaced.
Still on Nigerian Tribune, Benue, more outrage as Defense Chief vows to take battle to terrorists. IGP visits state. There were more outrages across the country on Monday as the Chief of Defense Staff, CDS, General Christopher Musa, and Inspector General of Police, Kayode Betukun, visited Benue State with a promise to further take the battle to the terrorists. The Defense Chief, while on an on-the-spot assessment of the troubled communities of Benue State that have been under attacks by gunmen, said the military would double its efforts at ending the killings in the state and parts of the country.
Still on the Daily Trust newspaper, fresh trouble for PDP as INEC rejects NEC notice. There appears to be no end in sight to crisis plaguing the main opposition party. The PDP, as the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), has rejected the note signed by Ajia Auru Aminu, who identified as the acting secretary of INEC, communicated the Commission's decision, citing a violation of procedural guidelines. Dated June 13 and addressed to the PDP national chairman. The letter referenced INEC DEPM PDP 286-3 and was titled "Re-Notice of 100th National Executive Committee Meeting of the People's Democratic Party."
It's still newspaper review on Visit 95.3 FM. Ikejile Ijesha. Do you want to know we can join the conversation this morning? 081-3237-1268, 081-3237-1268, or leave a comment on our Facebook page, like and share. So, Julius, so we can say good morning, vicinity ladies. Welcome Aja Aisha to enjoy your stay.
Thank you. What's the name? Julian. Thank you, Julian.
It's not Julian, Julius. Julius.
Okay, Julius. Thank you very much.
Rivers Senate screens RSEC nominees fault inclusion of non-indigent by sole administrator. The Senate had a committee on the emergency rule in Rivers State headed by its leader, Senator Kwame Bamidele, on Tuesday screened nominees for membership of the State Independent Electoral Commission. But some drama ensued when one of the Rivers Electoral Commission nominees, Dr. Michael Epia Ode, was discovered to be from Cross River State during the screening. Ode was nominated to be the chairman of the commission. Incidentally, he hails from the same state with the sole administrator of River State, Ibok Ekwe Ibas.
Still on the Daily Trust newspaper, bandits kill many in Kebbi community. Gunmen suspected to be bandits were said to have attacked Tauduga community in Zulu local government area of Kebbi State, killing an unspecified number of people, adopting many and rustling their cows. Local reports said the bandits, numbering over 50, invaded the community on Monday night when people had retired to their various houses. And that will be all on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning.
Yeah, thank you for joining us on the show, Newspaper Review, your darling station, listening to 95.3 FM. We do appreciate your time on the show this morning. I am OLUWAFUNKE Israel, saying bye for now.
Yeah, thanks for joining the newspaper review this morning on Vicinity 95.3 FM, Ikejile Ijesha. I am AISHA Ibrahim. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, and the executive producer here, Adishla Slani. Kudos to the technical crew for making this a show ride. Do join us on the morning show later today from the hour of 9:15 to 10 o'clock. Right now, overall our crew will be taking the banter.